Thanks for showing up. I want to review really quick what's due for the next week. This class is over next Wednesday, April 28th. So we've got 2 more class periods after this to review everything, get your project 2 wrapped up, and that's the final for this class. So next week, you've already submitted 2.1 and 2.2. Next week on Monday, I want you to submit 2.3 and 2.4, which is the second half of project 2. So that's all your diagrams. And I'm also going to expect you to present on Monday during class as if it was the final. So do all of your work as much as you can up to that point, and I would like you to present your building, what you understand about it, what's architecturally significant for your other group mates, group classmates to understand your building and what you've learned about it. So those will be all of your diagrams and your floor plans and sections as you present. But you can submit on Canvas your diagrams in an assignment I just created on Canvas, 2.3 and 2.4. And those are combined. And then project 2 will be due, finalized next Wednesday, April 28th, due by 11:59 p.m. On that class time, April 28th will be a work day. So you'll have everything done Monday, you'll get your feedback and then put everything together for final project 2. Come back on Wednesday for Zoom meetings if you want to discuss, have any questions, or want to work through it. So that's what's expected for the remainder of the class. Today, I'm just going to do a little bit of instruction on what a Parti diagram is. You should have prepared already the circulation and program diagrams to discuss today. The third other required diagram is a Parti diagram. And then at a minimum, 2 other types of diagrams that will be due for final project 2. And those 2 other types of diagrams at a minimum, you can do more, is what is significant about your building. So those 2 types of diagrams are up to you based on all we've discussed up to this point.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Does a detail count as a diagram, a detailed drawing?
Detailed drawing, yes, it can represent a it can be diagrammatic.
Okay, cool.
What would you represent in that detail?
I was thinking there's that like really big overhang as part of my house, and I thought it was pretty interesting, so I thought I might do a detail of it from some drawings.
Yeah,
that
I would keep it basic.
Okay.
Don't go into all the construction elements of it because we just want to distill down the idea of what you're showing instead of the actual construction of it.
Okay, sounds good.
Good question. Okay, any other questions about what's due for next Wednesday before we discuss Parti diagrams? Okay, excellent. I'm going to share my screen here for a moment and show you basically what a Parti diagram is. So I don't know if you've heard of a Parti diagram before, or any of you familiar with that? Okay, so a Parti diagram is the concept of your building in graphic form in a drawing. So if you express your concept of a design, you represent it in a Parti for the graphic quality of it. So that being said, this isn't your design. You'll do this for the rest of architecture school. You'll create a Parti diagram of your design concept. But as you're analyzing someone else's building, the architect of your choice, the project you're currently studying, you're going to create a Parti diagram of what you understand the concept of the building to be, the design concept of the building. So it's really the main idea minus all of the other architectural elements. So it can be about hierarchy, it can be about setting, context, it can be about form, positive, negative, whatever it might be. So these are a quick basic floor plan type Parti diagrams here as examples. It doesn't have to be about your floor plan. It can be about the section of your building if that's more important, or a 3D perspective of your building, or about site context, or it can be completely abstract and doesn't have to represent architectural elements if it represents the idea of the building. So that's kind of hard to grasp, but there's a few examples here, such as this one, right? Finger poking into the woods, right? You see a squiggly line to represent woods, and then you see 5 elements, which looks like a finger that's extending into the woods, right? It's very simple. And then the building, as you understand the building and you look at it, you look back at this Parti diagram and it helps you understand the design concept, right? And this one, radial scheme with missing spoke, right? So that's explaining the Parti diagram, but I don't want the explanation. I just want the Parti diagram sketch. Okay, and then when you present it, you can explain what the Parti is. But I just want the sketch. I don't want a verbal explanation of the Parti, if that makes sense. So here's another definition of a Parti diagram. The dominant idea of the building. It encapsulates the essential minimum of the design from which the architecture can be generated. Here's another example, Parti diagram, solids versus a perforated line, right? It's expressing transparency, hierarchy, whatever it be. Okay, and then go back to the reading, Precedents in Architecture, that's on Canvas. And you'll find in this reading that we looked at, right? This is a study of different buildings. They represent their diagrams as they analyze and study this building. They end up with, each of these examples in this project, they end up with a Parti diagram here at the end, if you can see that. Right, so this is the Parti diagram of what they understand this building to be. And there's lots of examples. Each building is a little bit different. At the end, you'll find a Parti diagram. So these are great examples of what the Parti diagram might represent. Any questions on that? Does that make sense? Okay, excellent. So this is the third type of diagram which everyone will have to produce, Parti diagram. And you've already produced the first 2. So now I'll just like to call on you to see your circulation and program diagrams, see if you have any questions, and discuss your project a little bit more. So can I call on Cameron Hubbard first?
Yeah, so I guess I must not have understood. I don't have circulation on me. What was the other one?
Program diagrams.
A program, I guess, and I'm not really exactly sure what those would look like either, so I'll have to do.
Were you there at the last meeting we had, or?
Yeah, I was there. I thought that it would be on Monday, not Wednesday.
Gotcha.
But sorry about that.
No, that could be my confusion. If you have questions about what those are, go back to the readings,
Okay.
and that video instruction that I posted on Canvas should help you too.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thanks, Cameron. Graham, do you have anything to show?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like Cameron, I also thought they were due next week. But I redid a bunch of my sketches so they look a little bit nicer. I just kind of like traced over some like prints of the floor plan I did, and then some sections, and then a couple elevations. But yeah, I definitely thought they were due next week and not today. So yeah, that was my mistake. I'm sorry for that.
No, that's all right. How do you and Cameron both feel about your building? Do you guys have any questions about how you're going to present it? So on Monday, this is just for everyone. On Monday, I'm going to have to ask you to present your building for the rest of us to understand, right? So how do you guys feel about that? Are your diagrams Do you feel like you have diagrams that can help explain your building?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah.
Not completed, but in your mind.
Say, I was thinking today we were going to go over what those diagrams would or what they would look like, I guess, or how we would lay them out. Because I guess my question to you is, I have some sections and some floor plans of both levels, and so would the flow path or the circulation path be from the section view, showing like from upstairs to downstairs kind of thing, or on the floor plan showing like a regular, like, are we just kind of pontificating what people would normally do in the
Yeah.
space?
That's the idea, and I would suggest doing both,
Okay.
plan and section. And if it makes sense to do that in section or elevation view for your program diagrams, you can do that as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Your
good to know.
program
Thank you.
diagrams again are just showing the types of space, use of space,
So there's just like
the ones we did.
living space, like utility closet, that kind, or like, or more general,
Service,
like
public versus private. Yeah.
public,
all that.
private, yeah, servant, whatever.
Yeah, excellent. Graham, how are you? Did you guys want to go over? Do you need ideas about what other diagrams you need to produce, or?
It would be fantastic if you could go over the program diagram, because I looked at some stuff on Google and I don't think I quite understood what exactly they were asking for, or you were asking for, sorry.
Okay, so program diagram, let me see if I can find a quick example. Graham, in the last, I know you weren't in my section for ARC 1630. Did you produce program diagrams or program floor plans in that class for your final project, or no?
No, we didn't.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen here to reference. Okay, so your program diagram, you're just going to take your floor plans and you're going to look at the type of space each room has, or exterior space, interior space. You're going to diagram with simple colors. Let me see if I can find an example. I know there's some examples in the syllabus and in the video recording I posted previously. This one's not in plan view, but it's in 3D exploded view. What you're looking at is just to identify the use of the different types of space, whether that's servant utility space, or if it's retail, office, hotel, whatever's pertinent to your project. And then if it's, you know, just a house, maybe you can identify which spaces are public spaces versus private spaces, where your entrance is. That'll be maybe more on your circulation diagram, but it can also be on your program diagram. And then exterior spaces, if there's lounge areas or landscaping elements. These are all different types of program that you would put into your building. And a program is just, you know, the list of the type of spaces. So you're identifying in your floor plan, and just color or poche or something to identify, and then create a key to identify those colors for your program.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
And you might find more examples with a little bit more research or referencing the other stuff that I posted. I'm not finding a good one to show you here. But if that makes sense, this is a bubble diagram, but it's also showing the programs, right? But you have to fill in.
Yeah, the way you explained it makes a lot more sense than what I had found, like Googling stuff around, so thank you.
Okay, excellent.
Could we separate, like, could we do a diagram that's for exterior and interior spaces, and then another one that's a program diagram? That's
I think that's a really good idea. The more simpler you
Okay.
can make it to understand it visually, whether that's more diagrams, that's a good idea.
Okay, and would that still count as our other diagram, like doing an inside space, outside space one, or would those count as like one diagram?
Yeah, it can, but I think if you're not really, I think you'll probably need more to explain the building architecturally. If
Okay.
you're limiting the number of diagrams you have to something still similar to your program diagram,
Okay.
I would suggest doing some more, but
Okay.
we can
Cool.
review that again once you do those on Monday.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so if you're looking, before I call on anyone else to show their diagrams, if you're looking to understand what type of diagrams you want to create yourself for your other two required at a minimum diagrams, I want you to look back at what you've analyzed in the building, what you've understood so far with drawing the floor plans, the sections, trying to distill in your mind what is architecturally significant about this building, right? Is that the type of materials they've used, the type of structure they've used? Is it how they've oriented the building for sun, air, wind, light? Is it the passive strategies they have, right? Is it the landscape and how that interacts with the building, right? So you're understanding this building architecturally as if you were to understand the architect's design process. And then you're taking that idea to help express the building to other students, your group classmates, and you're doing that with your graphic skills, your diagrams. So that's where your diagrams are coming from. So if you need further help with that, I'd be happy to meet with you individually and go over your specific building, but until you request it, I guess we'll just continue. Cameron Hunter, do you want to show us what you've got?
Yeah, I can show you. And I realized I turned in the wrong 2.2, so that's fixed. So you
Okay,
can see
cool.
that now. The screen sharing's disabled.
Oh, yes. Okay, it's right now.
Okay. So these are mine. So this is a circulation of one of the detail drawings. It's like a cut through. So I just did like primary, secondary, and like entrances and verticals. And then for my floor plans, the first floor is kind of all utility kind of area and it's kind of empty. So I didn't do much for that one. And then the second floor, and then the top floor. And then my place drawings, first floor, I just kind of did like the hatching for private and public, try and separate them. And then the first floor and the second floor.
Excellent. Those are looking really good. I should have used your examples to instead of Googling for one. These are what we're looking for. So if that helps you guys understand, those are great diagrams. I think they're pretty clear.
Thanks.
How are you feeling about other diagrams?
Good. I've got 2 so far. I just need to kind of think of another 2 on my mind.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any questions, Cameron, about your building or?
I think I'm good so far.
Okay, good. Michael, you want to show anything?
I have a circulation draft done, so I'll show that real quick. I didn't quite give myself enough time to do a program diagram though.
Well, I see you spent a lot of time on your reproduction drawings, so
yeah,
those look really nice.
Thank you. I wish I would have been focusing more on this. But I actually forgot a kitchen wall right here, so just imagine that. And the way I differentiated between primary, secondary, and tertiary was line weight. So
I like it.
thinnest line is tertiary, thickest line is primary and then secondary somewhere in between. So,
It's a very
Yeah.
good way to do it.
and should I have the paths going into the bedrooms and stuff?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
think
fine?
it's-
Okay.
Yeah, you're showing access, right? So
Yeah.
any other openings, you know, I wouldn't know if they're a door or a window. So
Okay.
good.
Cool. Awesome. That's about all I have.
Great. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
How are you feeling about your other diagrams?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think obviously I'll have the other two that are required, and then a big part of my house is like the materials that it's made out of. There's like some walls that are made out of fieldstone, others are just like regular walls, and then others they're like low fieldstone walls with windows over them. So I think I'm gonna diagram where there's like glass, where there's fieldstone, and then where there's like regular walls. So I think that's another
that is
diagram I'm gonna
important
do.
for yours. I think that's a good idea.
And then I was thinking about doing that detail drawing of this really big
Oh yeah.
overhang. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, let me share again. So there's like a big overhang right here that I wanna maybe do a detail drawing of. Can you think of maybe a different one that might be a better diagram for my last one?
Well, I think the organization of this floor plan tells you a lot, right?
Yeah. Oh, that was another thought I had too, was to diagram the organization for sure.
Yeah, I think it
'cause-
really tells you a lot about that huge entryway, that big overhang balcony, and how
Mhm.
the living space is separated from all the private areas.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
seems to be the case. And then those building elements that extend into the site context,
Mhm.
like those are important too. So
Okay.
all of those layers of space would be good to understand in a diagram.
Okay. Can you think of like maybe a way I could diagram that?
Do you have any 3D views or axonometric views?
I don't yet, but I do plan on recreating those.
Okay,
There
if
aren't
you have
any.
one that, sorry, go ahead.
Marcel Brewer didn't actually create any of those drawings that I've seen from his archive, so I'll have to do it from a picture. But
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think showing the massing of those would be a good idea.
okay, what do you mean by the massing?
The massing, so you're seeing the 3D view of just those blocks, right?
Okay.
So you're seeing the void of the entry versus the,
Okay.
so if I were to just do a quick sketch, you know, it would just like be one big long rectangle, one fat small rectangle, and then the elements juxtaposing those and the connection piece, and then the
Okay.
exterior layers showing those expressed,
Okay.
extending out.
So just like showing the shapes of the spaces.
The shapes, yeah. The massing is
Okay.
just the basic shapes of the building.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
So I've got a quick question. So for just so that I understand, you know, where we're going with this, and just double checking, if I were to, for like one of the other diagrams, you know, that aren't the mandatory ones that we can kind of create. So say if I were, is this kind of like what you're looking for? Like, for example, you've got your elevation view, and like say I choose the ratio of the rectangle, and so I like call those out and with like a color or something like that. Is that like an example of a diagram where we're like pointing out a characteristic that is integral in the design that we noticed about it? Or like,
yeah,
just
that's exactly what we're looking for. And I might even go a little bit further than that and then just eliminate all the other stuff that's not necessary in that diagram.
Okay.
Like the extemporary details, like the architectural elements of the that elevation, try and take away as much of that as you can, so you're really seeing the relationship of those rectangles.
So basically just like the shape of the home plus those plugged in rectangles in whatever
That's
fashion,
right,
and,
yeah.
and that's
Make it as simple as possible to just get across that one point.
Okay. Sounds good.
Great question and good idea. Okay, Jose.
Yeah. So I only have these two, which is the ground floor and the upper floor. And that's I didn't draw like the whole layout of the house. I just drew like their sections, because then the rest is just like garden and patio. So I wasn't sure if I should include that too. So I just kind of did like the most important stuff of the home.
Yeah, I think that works.
Okay.
If
And
that's
then
the point you're trying to get across, yeah.
yeah, okay. And then I also I forgot to add it in this picture, but I also did um a oh, let me share it. I also did a 3D model of the home, but I'm confused as to like if I should include that.
Awesome.
So I made this one.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing this one.
Yeah,
I think it's
found
great.
one.
I think you should definitely include it, and you can create a lot of, like a massing diagram you can easily create from this drawing. Right, so as we were just discussing with Michael's project, if you wanted to create a massing diagram, you could just overlay a piece of paper here and then pull out those all of those basic shapes
Yeah.
and their relationship to one another, and then we start to understand the formal representation of the building.
Okay. Yeah, because this is just the first floor of the plan. I couldn't find the second floor, so I just did the first one.
Okay, yeah, and if you can find, even if it's just a photograph that you can express the rest of the building in this, if you are looking for a massing diagram to create the whole picture, that would be good.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks for all the good questions. Are there any others that you have? Okay, Tyler, did I forget anything that we need to go over based on what we went over the last two?
No, I think you covered more in this one than the other. So
That's because we had participation.
that's right. Yeah. The other groups hardly had anyone there.
Yeah.
Just a quick note on diagrams. Diagrams are a lot of the times it's hard to explain your design project in front of people quickly and simply. So diagrams are the best way to quickly get people on board with the design and what your thinking is behind it. So they're very important, and keep that in mind and look at how other firms and architects create diagrams. There's a lot to learn from them.
Great, thank you so much. All right, everyone, if you have questions before Monday, just let me know. If you want to meet, let me know. And if not, we'll see your close to completed works for you to present on Monday. All right. Okay, take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.